for me is reading part of art. Really, I love the horses. I don't care about what they are, breed they are from. I love them when I was young, and I will love to die with them.
It's very rare that anyone in their lifetime sees the development of a country go from less than 5 stories as far as a house or a building is concerned, to skyscrapers and a monstrous new city. The first time I came to Qatar in 1991 or 2, Shaqb was just barely in existence. His Highness the Amir, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa al-ثاني, had this vision, an incredible vision, to build a magnificent Arabian horse stud farm on the site of one of the great battles that was a turning point in Qatar's history and led to the independence of the country. And the name of the battlefield area was Al-Shaqb. It was a very small country. There was really no development, and at that time, Sheikh Khalifa was the ruler of the country. I remember meeting His Highness the Amir, and I was extremely impressed with him as an individual. And since this tribute is to him, I think it's important to emphasize that he was a dreamer with a great vision and a patriot who greatly loved his country. And when he established Al-Shaqb, he wanted to lead the renaissance of the Arabian horse in that part of the world.
He was a visionary, though. When you look at what he did for Qatar in the 20-some-odd years that he ruled, there was nobody like that in the Arab countries. He really did step up and want to bring Qatar into the modern world, at the same time keeping the culture and the history, and definitely the history of the Arabian horse.
So the first thing I remember, establishment, it was a very simple group of white buildings with some very beautiful white mares. And at that time, His Highness had chosen a young horseman who was a relative of his, and who was also a breeder and also had a very extensive background. His name was Sheikh Hamad bin Ali al-ثاني. In the first meeting with Sheikh Hamad, I was always impressed with his tremendous enthusiasm, his knowledge, and his desire to fulfill the dream and the vision of His Highness.
When we talk about the father, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa al-ثاني, we are talking about history, and we talk about big step to return the Arabian horses back to the Arabic Peninsula or to Qatar. Actually, we talk about 80 and beginning of the 80, end of 70. He gave me the order to find all the Arabian horses, the Arab desert horses in Qatar, and return them back, and to save the registration of the Qatari horses or desert bred horses. The next step was we sent all the ambassadors, we call it, or his people, to find all the best Arabic desert horses or Arabic Peninsula horses. And we start with Cairo, Al-Zahra, and then Al-Badia, and all this.
From the time Sheikh Hamad bin Ali became the manager of Al-Shaqb, it was a small farm at that time. And the Amir gave him permission, and he was not the Amir at that time, he was the heir apparent. But of course, he was very powerful. And he asked Sheikh Hamad bin Ali to travel the world and find the very best Arabian bloodstock that was available. And so Sheikh Hamad did. He was very enthusiastic.
We went to the big world of the United States of America, and we see different world. Something called show, there's something called breeding, there's something, many, advertising, magazine, media, big project. It's like huge, you know, for us. We are young at that time, all of us, 20 years old, me and Sheikh Abdulaziz, and all the breeder, Sheikh Nawaf, the 3 breeder, we went there. And beginning was the straight Egyptian event. People show horses, condition, training. What this, you know, for us it's big thing, it's like factory. And then we see something not straight Egyptian, it's called straight Egyptian, they are more beauty and more charismatic and more, you know, showy, and also they are really bigger and size. Okay, what we do, we need to go to compete with these people to show we love these horses and we are the owner of this called Arabian horses, and we don't have it. And we back to our boss and he say, yeah, why don't start your new program? We start with collect all the best straight Egyptian horses in the United States, and we train them for the shows, and then win all the show in the United States. We come here in Qatar, we win all the show with all the straight Egyptian horses. Imperial Fanila, Sabil, Alia, Farida, many names. Then we went to Middle East show in Jordan. Then we say, okay, why we don't go? We hear about Aachen, Paris. What this? We went there, we find the European market open for us. They love the type we have. Actually, we got very big support from European breeders. We went to Aachen, and then we went with Imperial Fanila and Sabil, and then we went to Paris. Then we went with also Fanila, and she got the world champion, and we got reserve champion with Sabil. Tartar was very good. But the people say, no, we need to see your breeding, and then we stopped for a few years, and then we went with Al-Adid. We went to Aachen also with the big team show, and we win all the 4 championships in Paris, and we get the most high score in the world with Al-Adid, and still I think it's the highest score in the world. And it was really nice to win with your breeding, but that's Al-Adid still in our heart. He put Shaqab in the front, and the people was respect us a lot from our starting breeding in State Egyptian. Really, I have very good team, and one of the biggest supporter for me in breeding, Michael Baye. He suggested to me to bought Kuchi here, and we find Chitina, Kajora, all this beautiful best mare in the world, and we built them. And then Michael decided, why don't breed Kajora to Nazal Farid? It's a good idea, why not? And we got Gazal. And Gazal coming, and the world of Shaqab is changed. And Gazal coming, and the world of Shaqab is changed.
His Highness Sheikh Hamad had become the Emir of Qatar. In 1995, he replaced his father as the ruler of Qatar, and from that time forward, Qatar went from 0 to 1,000 overnight. It became a very influential power in the world. In the meantime, Shaqab was blossoming. It had gone from a small bud to a full-bloomed rose, and championships were falling at their feet wherever they went. And then as Shaqab improved and got larger, more and more recognition in the world, people started coming from all over the world to visit the farm, and Shaqab became a household name.
At the time, in the Gulf state regions and the Middle East region, there were obviously people that had been breeding longer than Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. But what he did, though, was really step it up by bringing in some of the best horses and being an active buyer, but an active participant. It was Qatar that led the way, without a doubt, and Al-Shaqab that led the way. And then more and more people opened up and bred more and more Arabians. But you know, even like the UAE, which was, there was only 1 or 2 breeders of Arabian horses that were substantial, but there wasn't even a horse show. There wasn't a horse show in Kuwait, there wasn't a horse show in Saudi, Qatar was the first one that started. I think the Arabian horse world was very lucky that His Highness decided to put such devotion and money into it and support. Because he was very responsible for bringing the Arabian horse back into that country in full force and making it. The Qatar show was the show to go to in that entire region. There was nothing else that came close to this show, and it was a great place to bring your clients, to bring your friends to, get everybody a nice feel of what that region was about, and also dispel the tremendous amount of beliefs that a lot of Americans have about that region. You know. It's a beautiful city, well maintained. The people are very, very sweet, with hospitality that you wouldn't believe.
Legalize fame. Then we breed her to this young boy. It's called Ghazal, and she get Marwan. When he come, really, actually, for us, is something different. Different style, different type. He's not our type. For us, it's what is, you know? Did he can win in the show? Really, that's what we ask ourselves beginning. Because his long neck, very stretchy when he was a baby, not that type. No, but when he went to Europe, the European crazy about it. The first show was in Denmark. I remember Ferdinand Hoemer, Marina, and all this breeder in Denmark. It was crazy. You know, in that time we doesn't have experience also to say this American style or European style. We don't know what is it. You know, a horse. Michael actually promotes Marwan to be the top of the horse of the world. He saw this horse. He said, "This horse will change the world."
He was right.
And he was right. His spirit, his baby, influenced all the world. You cannot see one Marwan baby win in every class. Shaqab is always part of the Arabian horses world. The Amir, the father, always says the Shaqab is owned by all the world, Arabian horses. For that, we love all kind of horses. You know, when the Polish and Yonov and Mikhailov decide to take Ghazal, and this was really for me like a dream. Farm who have 300 years old come to you and Lisa Stadium. They are they breed the best from Ghazal. They are promote Shaqab better than everyone in the world. They are amazing. They are great people.
We've been friends for a long time and very close, really good friends. And I was always impressed by your humility and the way that you said it was a gift from God that you had these great horses and that you had the opportunities that you were given, because other people could have done the same things. But I think you're so responsible for those blessings to come onto yourself because of the energy and the great karma that you give off. And you're a very humble person, and you've always believed that it wasn't only you doing it. You were part of the universe. I think going forward, what's going to be very important and vital is what is going to be again. The emotional connection, breeding through soulful, artistic, heartfelt decisions. That's how Shaqab operated. So I think what is old is going to be new again, because the vision of Hamad bin Ali and His Highness, it's so important that those elements continue to be the way that Shaqab is defined. It can't be just by a board of people or by anything. So I think going forward, we're going to see the new Shaqab return to the old Shaqab, which changed the world. So I don't think that it's going to require a lot of tweaking. It's just going to require the vision and the soulful artistic input by somebody who's as genius as Hamad bin Ali.
You know, I believe always type is part of the human things, and the eye of the human getting tired sometimes. You need every 6-10 years, you need to change the view. And after I cut 4 years from Shaqab, I come back and there is nothing new coming. Actually, I get big support first from my cousin and one of the most beautiful breeder in the world, Sheikh Abdullah Al-Thani. He generously gave us a magic wand like a gift to breed to him how much we want. I thank him so much, and that will be in his credit for future, for I hope for Shaqab. Justice is the most beautiful type in the whole world, and he have this charisma and he have this type, and I think they're honored to also to give it to us to have him in this age in another farm than their farm. But why I decided these two horses? When I first come after a long time to walk in the stable of Shaqab, I was surprised with something. We missed the grey horses. Maybe the color is not involved in beauty of horses, but for me, it's part of the beauty of Arabian horses. One of the most beautiful color we have in Arabian horses, we call it the flipix. Our logo flipix. For that, I think about to find first grey, best two stallion, and I find this two. Secondly, I need to retain the type. Type is very important for Arabian horses. Conformation is very important, but type, it's the eye, the skin, the dry, and the air. This face is our brand. I find the best way for magic is work with American line. My strategy always in breeding, I don't love to put a lots of stallion in my breeding program, because for me is breeding part of art. And if you need to study your line, you cannot put 100 of lines and you will lost. You cannot see what is the line you will follow up. We are like support all the breeders in Qatar. We make all the breeding free for all the stallion, and I'm happy to be back also in my home and my life.
You always say that you love all your horses.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. You know, I get crazy when one of my grooms coming to me and he say, we cannot put this horse in this book stable because this horse is not important. Oh no, how cannot be important? He feel like another one. He walk like another one because it's not beautiful. Doesn't mean.
And what I want everybody watching this video to understand is there was such a uniqueness about Sheikh Hamad bin Ali. Approached everything that he did with an emotional character, which I think was so unique because so many people looked at the horses in a very organized, very black and white way. And he would stop and look at a horse, and actually I knew if he loved a horse because he would actually cry over it. And I would put my hand on him and say, "Are you okay?" He said, "No, I just love this horse so much. It brought me to tears."
We are sharing the most beautiful things in the world. These horses.
We're honored to have with us Sheikh Hamad bin Ali Al Thani, representing His Highness the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. Congratulations once again to His Highness the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, for the lifetime entry award.